Hello, friends, and welcome back to Market Shares. I'm your host, Tony Blodgett, and today in the studio, I have back with us again, Dan Keller, coach, mentor, top producer, branch manager, regional leader, all of the above. Dan Keller's back in the studio with us. And look, I just thought that great time to pull Dan in. He just kicked off his coaching series for the year. You can find Dan on Rise MLO on Facebook. He does coaching for our region here. Some other people at New American Funding jump in and do his coaching. And Dan's coached. You know, it's one of the things I love about Dan is, you know, he's not the kind of guy who just tells you what to do. He holds himself to as high a level of accountability as anyone else that I know. And I just thought it'd be a great time, Dan, to bring you into the studio and just give our audience, you know, a quick hit. Like, what are the top 3-5 things that, you know, you've identified in 2025 loan officers need to do to win? What are the things that you're doing to win this year? Yeah. And, you know, I figured we'd just take 15 minutes, give people a quick hit on, you know, what's the top things that are going to work for people in this market.
Yeah. So 2025 is going to be like 2024.
Yeah.
There's no refi boom. And I think we got to get through that mindset that if you treat it like 2024, you're going to win. If you treat it hoping for lower rates, you're going to lose. Yeah. So I think that's first and foremost. The thing I'm loving about it is we're watching the amount of loan officers deteriorate in America.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I look at that as an opportunity. So I think the biggest opportunity is survival. The fact that you're still here is the opportunity, number one. And I don't know if you heard me on last week's coaching call. I was pretty direct with my branches that I run. If you're not chasing realtors in 2025, just get out of the industry.
Yeah.
There's no other option. So, I mean, yeah, you have loan officers that work with financial planners. Those are the exceptions. Like if you are a CPA and a financial planner, LO, awesome. But the majority of them aren't. So if you're in the industry, you have to chase realtors, number one. Number two, you got to have a great business plan. You got to have a plan that you got to have a playbook, and you got to run those plays every single day. The thing I love about our Everett office, since I've been back in there, is those loan officers are there. They're there every day. Yeah. They're working on their business. They're calling their agents. They're getting better at going out and meeting new agents. But for the most part, they're taking care of the real estate agents that they have. They're taking care of clients that they have. So that brings me to my second opportunity, I think, in 2025 is your database. Yeah. You know, you and I have been speaking about that for years. So realtors, database, and then I think the third, I think there's an opportunity for financial literacy. Our friend Dave Savage, he's got a nonprofit. I think it's First Home IQ. Yep. You know, I'm a early founder or whatever, contributor, sponsor, because I believe in that. So I think the ability to teach financial literacy to your clients. So it starts with you. You got to practice it, and then you got to teach it to your clients. And then, hey, real estate agents haven't had a heyday for the last 3 years either. So maybe helping them with some financial literacy for themselves. So I think those are the that's what I've been coaching on, 3 big opportunities in 2025. I don't think there's going to be anything new that's going to, you know, oh, this is the new trend, like social media or video. If you're not on social media, if you're not leveraging video, you missed out. That train left the station years ago.
Well, you know, so I mean, I think AI can help people do the things that you're talking about, right? It can help you put together a presentation, a schedule. Yep. It can help you fast track some of those things. Yep. But, you know, I think everyone should be learning more about how to use ChatGPT. Now it's like if you have an iPhone, it's built into your iPhone now. Yeah. So I think AI, you know, enhances productivity. But no, I definitely agree with you. Nothing new. But let's unpack those 3 really quick. Yep. So I'm thinking about realtors. Couldn't agree with you more. I mean, but it sounds old, right? I mean, it's the same thing I did 10, 15 years ago when I was called on realtors. So it sounds like what you're saying is like, you know, the basics work. You got to go meet realtors. I mean, we're still in an industry where if you're a retail outside sales loan officer, the majority of your business is still going to come from the real estate community.
Stop fighting it.
Yeah.
There's social media and running ads and you know, Google ads and YouTube ads. I mean, loan officers will do everything in their power to not chase realtors.
Yeah.
You got to go after realtors. Listen, we have what they need. Like National Association of Realtors came out. They come out every single month. But last month, 22% of homes purchased in America were with cash. 22%. That's a lot, but that's still a small percentage compared to the rest were financed, right? Real estate agents need quality lenders. They need our loan programs at NAF cash, DSCR, asset depletion, bank statement loans, just to name a few. The fact that we're a direct lender and have no overlays.
Right.
The HUD 184, we got a 184 loan through the other day where it was declined at the preferred lender for the tribes, direct 184 lender. They weren't. They said that they couldn't do it because it was a 184 jumbo. There's no such thing as a 184 jumbo. And so real estate agents need us. Yeah. Okay. They need the communication that we have versus, and then the accuracy and the ability to work quickly that the banks and credit unions don't have. And I'm telling you this, you guys, when you call real estate agents, you will hear their pains. A lot of lenders have quit. A lot of lenders have retired. A lot of lenders are just checked out. And so they're looking for A+ quality lenders. And so stop fighting it. Believe in yourself. Know that you have something of value. You have something to offer them and something that'll help them sell more homes.
Well, yeah. So we're down here. We're at your office, one of the offices you manage. And I was talking to one of your loan officers, and she said, yeah, I'm going to real estate offices, stopping by real estate offices. And, it's funny. She said, obviously Dan coaches on that, but I'd heard a podcast and someone was talking about that's how they built their business. And I said, yeah, that's how I
build yours, Tony.
That's how I built my business,
Same with me.
Going to real estate offices and meeting realtors.
Yep.
I think that with COVID, look, let's be honest, it was difficult during COVID because no one was in the offices and whatnot. I think has that changed a little bit, do you think? I mean, is there more opportunity to go make traditional sales calls and actually find people, or is that still a challenge?
It's more challenging now because, back in the day, they congregated there, right? So you could shoot, it's like fish in a barrel, right? You had a better chance of landing more when you do they called it milk run back in the day. Sure. I'd, pop by Windermere, then I go to KW, then I go to John L. Scott, and it's a little bit different now. And so what I'm doing is I'm offering, and I've put work into this. I've hired Renee Rodriguez, so I've learned how to present better, right? I've put together a curriculum or a 3-part slide deck. If you're at New American Funding, you get this. I give this to our region, right? But I'm going after owners and managers and saying, let me come into your sales meeting. So Thursday, I speak at John L. Scott and Everett. Now, this is to answer your question. Their sales meeting is live/Zoom. So it's broadcasted via Zoom. So all of their agents have it. It's recorded. So it'll go out to all agents. And then there's about 20, to 25 that show up live.
Right.
And so we do that at Sotheby's as well. So I think there's an opportunity to get into sales meetings, and then you can get in front of people. And then that's where you talk about your unique value proposition, something that we have that can help them sell more homes. It's a little bit more challenging. I think the loan officer you were referring to is Rebecca. The other thing that we've got her doing is going to open houses. Sometimes you got to go to where they are. And so it depends on how hungry you are. If you're hungry and you want to hunt, you go to open houses. The cool thing about open houses is they've got newer buyer's agents typically working the open houses. So it's an opportunity to meet someone that's working on the weekends. I like working with hungry agents.
Right.
If you're working on the weekends, an open house, you're hungry. You're putting in the work.
Right.
So I like that.
Well, I was explaining to Rebecca too, when you stop, you might stop by a real estate office and maybe there's only one person there, 2 people or 3 people. Maybe there's not 120 people congregating there.
Yep.
But here's the thing is you walk in the door and you talk to somebody and that person may have just had a buyer whose loan got turned down.
Yep.
And they might say, oh, you're a lender? Well, look, I'm so frustrated right now. I just got a call from this other lender. They're a Yahoo. I mean, if you could fix this thing, you'll be my new guy, my new gal forever.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and you go, well, what's the likelihood of that happening? Well, I'll tell you what the likelihood is if you're not there. It's zero.
Yeah.
But if you are there, and I can think of so many situations where I met a realtor because I happened to swing by the office, I was bringing information, I was bringing up a flyer, or what I like to do is have my clients drop all their stuff off at the real estate office. And that would be I'd go pick it up in will call. I'd create reasons to show up there. Yeah, this is old school stuff, but here's the reality is I just wanted to be in proximity because then I could start a conversation, and you never know what's going to come out of that. But I can tell you, when you're not there, the chances of something happening like that are zero. And so no, that's good. Okay, so the true story, I didn't know the three things you were going to say. I was talking to another one of your loan officers, right, David, and I was talking to him about his business, how it's going, and he said, well, I just got my CRM a little more dialed in. I got a lot more work to do. And he goes, but I got everyone set up on, it was an automated campaign of his birthday notification, whatever it was. His point was, all of a sudden I start getting text messages and phone calls and emails. Hey, thanks for reaching out. You know, everything's great, blah, blah, blah. He's like, what is all that? It's because he set his CRM up to do some automation and he's getting some feedback, you know? And what an easy reminder. I mean, David's probably been in the business for 20 years.
Yeah, he had a good month last month.
Yeah.
He
closed over $3 million. That was your December. We closed over $3 million. That's a pretty good December.
He had a good month. Yeah.
And, but you know, so there you go, CRM. So what else about CRM? I mean, I know that you'd probably say, hey, look, you know, automated campaigns are okay. But you need to be talking to people, right?
Yeah. I did the same thing 2 months ago. I switched from, I still have Jungo, but I switched to this company called Candid. And I like it. And I know we have Bonzo, and I'm waiting for us to continue to work through some of the bugs, which it sounds like when we work through some of the plugins and the add-ons, it'll be this, what I have, this just plug and play with Candid. AI features, text campaigns, and then, birthday campaigns and closing date campaigns. I think that's the big thing. I think, well, one of the three things I said was database. And so that's one way to stay on top of your database. I think you have to know when your client's closed, so their anniversary. You don't need to know or personally reach out to all your clients when they have a birthday. But I think it's a good touch if you have a separate list, which is your top 50. So your top 50 is anyone that's referred you in the last 2 years or you've done multiple deals with. It's really that easy. And that's not that hard to identify. Your top 50, you are going to call them. I like to call them the day before their birthday. I like to be the first one to reach out to you and say happy birthday. Okay. They're going to have a bunch of people probably not even working on their birthday, et cetera. So, but staying in touch with your database is big, especially your top 50.
So this goes back to the high tech, high touch, right? You got to leverage technology, you know, to en masse put yourself in front of people, automate it, make it simple. You know, what I liked about Bonzo was that it could be a text message, it could be an email, it could be a video, it could be a voicemail drop, it could be, right? It's all these different mediums. What I love about that, and I'm sure, you know, what you're using probably does something similar, but what's nice about that is it's not just a text message or it's not just an email. It mixes up your communication and it does give more of an impression to your client that you're actually reaching out to them, even though it's automated. But you do have to supplement that with high touch, reaching out, identify your top 50. Okay, so database, huge, love that. Now, fiscal literacy, you know, when I think about this, like I love what Dave Savage is doing with the home IQ and educating the public, right? Educating high school kids, educating people who don't have access to this information because of, you know, the community they grew up in or their social networks or whatever the reality is. Not everyone has this information. But you're right. Starts with educating yourself. And then I have to assume, you know, the best way to get this information out is to do what, classes? I mean, is this where first time home buyers classes come in, educational like type outreach?
I think you have to live it. I think you have to be it. You have to live it. You have to talk about it. And when I say you have to live it, you have to be financially literate yourself. Now, we're all in the mortgage industry. We should be financially literate. The reality of it is you and I see the numbers in our region, which our region's not any different than any other region for any other big mortgage company, right? You've got a small percentage at the top that are making a decent income, regardless of the market. You got the rich and the rest.
Right.
The rest, you and I know that you cannot pay your mortgage, you cannot pay your bills closing one loan or less a month, maybe even two loans or less a month. And there's a lot of people closing less than one or two mortgages a month. There's some that go a month or so without closing a home loan. And so I think there's an opportunity. I use that as motivation. So when I did our business planning for my two branches, for Everett and Kirkland, it was a 3-hour business planning workshop. And we spent probably 2 hours of that just on their money, just understanding budgeting, understanding financial literacy, understanding, do you know your number? And your number is, do you know your number that it takes to retire? How much money do you need in the bank to apply the 5% rule to that money to then live off of? And the majority of our loan officers did not know that. And so it starts with us. We need to understand that, and then when you understand it and you live it and you're cautious of it, you start talking that way to your clients. So I have a financial conversation with all my clients. I don't care if they're multimillionaires, and if they are, cool. Hey, who is your financial planner? I'd love to chat with them. Cool. You've done very well. What are some keys to your success? So you can learn from like 2 or 3 people in my whole entire career have been super wealthy. The majority of them, let's just be real, the majority of them need wealth help, right? So I think it starts with talking with them about that. Hey, do you understand that you can literally contribute almost $24,000 a year pre-tax? It's called a 401k. Most employers have some type of a match program. How are you leveraging that? So we start with that. Most of them don't even know the answer to that question. Oh, I'm contributing. Oh, cool. How much? I don't know. I'm just contributing. Okay, cool. Maybe it's a good time to reach out to HR, your HR, and talk about that because they've increased that over the last couple of years.
Well, having these conversations with your borrower, I think, first of all, most loan officers don't do it. Mm-mm. And the thing that it does is it shows your clients that you care genuinely, not just about getting paid for this it takes it from a transactional relationship to I care about your family, your legacy, and how you're going to get on, in life. And I can help give you pointers, advice. I specialize in mortgage financing, but all of these things are important. And if I can help open your eyes to those, make introductions to people who can help you in those other areas, or just bring awareness of how home ownership can help you, expand into these areas. I think it takes the conversation from a transactional, many times, what's your rate conversation to a man. This guy not only is super knowledgeable, he's someone I want as part of my sphere of influence, right? Someone that I'm learning from. Yeah. And he's going to help me with my mortgage as well. I mean, it transforms the relationship.
It's the questions and the conversations, and this is what I'm really trying to get home in I don't call it coaching anymore, but my role in our region, on top of being a producer and a branch manager, is your regional sales coach or trainer. What I'm training on right now is having better conversations with your clients. So for example, when you have that initial conversation with a borrower, most of the time it's, I'm going to get you pre-approved, and then it's all based off of credit, income, debt, cash, down payment, monthly payment, stuff like that, right? And most loan officers do an average to below average job there. The difference between the best and some of the best that you follow in the mortgage coach community, we, in that initial conversation, our conversation is like, hey, Tony, you've gone to a family physician before, a family practice physician before, right? For your annual checkup, because you got a cold, right? You don't just go in there and have a checkup and that doctor goes, well, I know you mentioned there's a few other things going wrong right now that aren't going really right. You've had this knee pain for years. Just go ahead and go find someone to help you out with that. I can't help you with that, right? But the doctor knows the human body. The doctor should have a connection to a leg and joint and foot specialist, right? And they do. Right. And they have enough knowledge to be like, yeah, that's off. That's probably a ligament damage or a cartilage issue. Here's what I think. I'm going to suggest you do this, right? That's no different than us. We should be financially literate. We have their bank statements. We have their investment statements. We have their pay stubs. We can see what they are or are not contributing. We can see what they are or are not earning. We have their bank statements so we can see what they're spending, what's left over. Take a little bit extra time. And when you have that conversation up front, when you work with me, I'm going to help you get the best mortgage. I'm going to help you get the mortgage that factors into your short-term, your long-term goals. But here's the thing. I really believe that the mortgage, the home that you buy right now, if you zoom out 10 years, that $700,000 home is going to be worth $1.5 million. It just is. You have to trust the data.
Right.
I mean, for the last 50 years, it is what it is. Look at all the homes you've owned, all the homes I've owned. It's just going to be worth $1.5 million. You can fight it all you want, or you can realize that in 10 years, you're going to have about $700,000 equity. Now, 200 of that or more, depending on what you put down, Yeah, 200 plus. So you're going to have $500,000 that is under the cap gains laws that you're going to be able to, you're going to be tax free on, right?
Right.
But there's going to be a component of that you're going to get hit with on your taxes. Are you aware of that? No, I'm not aware of that. So then I always tell the story, like my friends and my family members think I'm crazy because every 3 to 5 years, Dan and Jenny move. Well, there's reason for that. We've got $500,000 in equity and I already pay a crud ton of taxes.
Right.
So I don't want to do that again. And they're like, oh, wow. So it starts to make sense. Plus, do you know your number? So when you have conversations like that with people, that you just hit it right on the head, the focus is more on this dude's a financial expert and my mortgage guy versus just he does mortgages. So the conversation is going to be centered around rates and fees.
Right. Exactly. Well, and I don't think it's hard to do. First of all, you have to control the conversation. Mm-hmm. You have to know with intention when you get into that conversation, what are the things that you're going to talk about?
Yep.
And you got to educate yourself, which is not difficult to do if you just make it a commitment to learn this stuff. And for God's sake, it's your career. Like, why wouldn't you take the time to learn this stuff yourself, or get a coach, get a mentor, get a teacher who can help you with that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's your money too. I mean, you think about it. I mean, people are like, I'll never forget Rob Hallam. I love Rob. And Rob was one of your best branch managers for years. When I first came on board about 3 years ago, when I came back to New American Funding, he goes, yeah, I heard you hear your coaching call, your training call. And he was like, I just don't feel comfortable talking about money with my clients. And I even went as far as, the loan officers, branch managers should be talking to their loan officers and coaching them on their money. And he was like, yeah, and I don't feel comfortable talking to my loan officers about their money. 2 years later, and Rob and I have a really great relationship. He sees it now. He's like, wow, like this stuff's important. This stuff's valuable. And Rob's done well with his money, right? And I said, Rob, that was the only thing I told him. I said, Rob, you've got all the wisdom and you've got all the experience and you've done very well with your money. A lot of these loan officers under us, they're just getting started and they have no clue. Yeah. They need guys like you and I to say, hey, we made these mistakes, or hey, we did this really good, or hey, this is just the financial fundamentals of money. Just do this. Yeah. And 10 years from now, it'll be okay. Yeah. Right.
Well, I agree with you. Rob is probably one of the most studious people I've seen with his money, who set himself up and his family up, and people could learn a lot from Rob. But, like you said, we're keeping it all a secret.
We need those guys to talk.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Share. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I didn't want to make this a long episode. You guys, look, we're wrapping up. I don't know when this episode airs, probably towards the end of January. We're here in January. Look, the reality is that this business is challenging, as evidenced by the number of people who've gotten out of the mortgage industry in the last year. If you're here, you're a survivor, and good. That's 3/4 of the battle. You made it this far, but there is no windfall coming, right? There is no refi boom coming. Now, yes, could something crazy happen? I could be proved wrong. I hope so. But do not enter into 2025 with the mindset that it's going to get better. Enter into 2025 with it's going to be just like 2024, and it's up to me to take the steps necessary to get to my goals that I have for my family, my finances, etc. It's going to take you to make a plan and do the work. And Dan, I love those 3 things. Chase the heck out of realtors. That's going to be the lifeblood of your business. It has and always will be. Focus on your database. These people know you, like you, trust you, and you're ignoring them. So find ways of automating and diversifying your communication. Make outbound phone calls to your top 50. Do annual reviews with your past clients. And then, gosh darn it, be passionate about your money, be fiscally literate and understand how money works. And then don't be afraid to go into that conversation with your clients. Like Dan said, just like the doctor does, you go into the doctor, because you need an annual physical, but if you're limping, he's going to say, what's wrong with your leg? Well, he can help you with that. We see people all the time who come in and say, I just want to buy a home with 0 down and the best rate possible. And they're limping because we can see their credit report. We can see their bank statement. Yeah. We need to address those things, and don't be afraid of it. Dan, that's a killer message. I appreciate you, brother, for all that you do. I'm sure my audience thanks you for some tips. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, a lot of people outside of NAF, New American Funding, follow you. If you guys ever want to just jump on one of our weekly trainings, our coaching calls, every Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, either DM me or DM Tony. We'll send you the Zoom link. I share this in the Rise community as well, that I have on Facebook. But yeah, jump on. We talk about mainly these three things.
Well, definitely Rise MLO. You should just join. So
it's a private Facebook community. Yeah.
And they can just go request it and join.
Yeah. Rise MLO training with Dan Keller. That's it. And there's like 3,000 loan officers that are in there. And same thing. It's all free. There's no upsell there.
Well, the nice thing about that, I mean, look, just join the community and then you'll see upcoming classes, events, things Dan's doing. Awesome. Dan, thank you. Yeah. Audience, look, thank you for your time and attention. If you like this content, look, we're looking to grow our presence as well. Let people know about market shares. I got some really cool episodes coming up this year, and nothing's more important than your time and the time that you spent to watch this. I thank you for investing that. And until next time, take care.